this sounds a little familiar. You've created your digital product, or you at least have a good idea of what it is that you want to be selling, and you're not getting it out there yet because you don't have an audience, and you know you should be promoting it, but you don't know who to promote it to. If that sounds a little too familiar, then you've got to smash that like button and subscribe, because we're in this for the long haul. And today I have 5 steps for you on how to start selling even if you have 0 followers and 0 audience, because we all started from 0. What's up everyone? I'm Christina Scalera, and I help you to turn your services into digital products that you can then sell passively from anywhere in the world, anytime, any place. And I've been doing this as my full-time career since 2015, believe it or not. So I know a thing or two about what it takes to make $1,800 completely passively, just like I did yesterday. I'm so excited for today's topic because this is a question I get asked all the time. Everyone wants to be selling something passively, but they don't know where to begin because they either don't have a product idea, which if you haven't checked out my other videos, I cover that in depth, or they don't have an audience. And if you don't have either, then you're in the right place, because that's exactly what this channel is all about. Subscribe. I remember when I made my first $3,700 online, and it was after 3 of the worst months of my life. I had an immediate family member go into a non-medically induced coma. I had my best friend who passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. It was just a really disheartening time on top of everything personally that was going on, because I did all the right things. I had the email sequence, I had the freebie, and then nothing was happening. So what was the problem? And I mean, this is 2015. It wasn't exactly as busy as it was online back then. And eventually, after about 3.5 months of just complete radio silence, I finally had my big break. And this came in the form of a $3,700 weekend. And what had happened was I went to a conference. I actually went to 3 conferences. I don't know why I did this, because it wasn't a good financial decision, although I was already $70,000 in credit card debt, so what's another $3,000? And I just, like in my gut, I was just like, just go. Like you don't know what could happen here. Just go, just talk to people and finish this business or start it. So that's what I did. I went and I met somebody there, and they had just started this thing called the Rising Tide Society, which is like this big community for creative entrepreneurs. It wasn't as big as it is now, but it was still pretty big. And luckily I got up the courage to ask one of the founders if they would like to start a podcast. I don't know where this came from. Something I felt like they should have, that they needed. And I had never done a podcast before. I'd never even been a guest on someone's podcast. So I had no business asking them if they wanted a podcast and if I could do it for them, but I did it anyway. I was shaking and I was scared. They got back to me and they said, no, we are not interested in that, but we are doing an educational series starting in January. So I was in a really good mood and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So there I am in November going to all these conferences, and then December, my life falls apart, the family member with a coma, my best friend dying, and then in January, I'm slated to do this webinar that I had promised in November. And so here I am in a hospital room next to a family member who may or may not survive, and my best friend has just died, and I just remember my shirt was like soaking wet from all of the tears that I had been crying all day and night, and it was like so much doing this presentation because I couldn't let these 4 founding members of the Rising Tide Society down. And I just remember feeling like so broken, because it was as if no one was paying attention to me, no one was engaging with my content. It seemed like nobody cared except for these 4 people put their trust in me, so I wasn't gonna let them down. And I show up, and I remember Davey, who's one of the co-founders, and he said, we have about 3,000 people on here, and another 4,000 signed up beyond that. Are you ready? Have you ever done a webinar before? And I feel so bad. I feel so bad because I lied to him. I said, yeah, I've had some practice in this area before. Like I tried, I don't want to be a liar. So I tried to like say it as truthfully as I could, but like it was a lie. I didn't have any experience doing any kind of webinar. And so I did it. I did the presentation. I did my best to be funny and engaging. And I tried so hard, you guys. And then I got to the end of the presentation and I gave the world's worst sales pitch, like literally worst sales pitch. And I told them that they can go to thecontractshop.com and well, it was actually my name.com at the time, and buy my templates on sale, and then I went right into the Q&A. At the end of this webinar, I just remember feeling really at peace for the first time in many, many months. And I had no idea that I had even made any sales. So we wrap up, I get off, and then I have several emails waiting for me from people that were like, I love this, I love you, this was great, thank you so much. It just was like this crazy, amazing experience. But the craziest part about it was watching all those sale notifications come in, because remember, 12, 13, whatever people on my email list, nothing. And then all of a sudden I had over 100 sales in one weekend. And it was just so overwhelming, because it was like, oh wow, like this whole online business thing isn't a scam. I thought it was a scam because I did all the things they told me to and nothing was happening. And then something happened. So I just want to encourage you that if you are starting from nothing, you could get a big break like I had, or maybe it's more like this YouTube channel where I tried for like a year, spending tens of thousands of dollars on this channel, not knowing if it would work or connect, or if you'd even see this video or not. And eventually it took off. We just reached monetization. So even if it doesn't happen with that big break scenario, you can still make it happen for yourself over the long term just by showing up consistently. You can use one of these 5 strategies here today to make sure that happens for you. So even though I got my start with this like big break at the beginning, I still did something first that you can also copy and make sure that you have in your business, which is I knew who my audience was. And this was after several years of trying to sell things that just didn't really pan out. So I knew that I was talking to creative entrepreneurs, and I knew that the Rising Tide Society served this group. So by marrying those two things together, I was able to have really great results and have this big kickoff to my business after 3 months of just total crickets. A lot of people will tell you to find an avatar, find a customer avatar at this point. I don't like that, because that's not a real person. There's plenty of real people out there that you can talk to and interact with and get feedback from who actually will buy from you. So go out there and talk to people, or get in Facebook groups, or watch Instagram channels of people that are selling similar products to you, and see the kinds of questions that they have, and just start to interact with those people. Start to ask them questions about what are they seeing that isn't helping them so far. So maybe they found something kind of like what they want to have in their life, but it's not quite the right thing. For example, if you're a designer and you want to serve a specific audience like photographers, you could go into a Facebook group that talks to photographers and see what's hanging them up about their website. Just start to see where they have those problems and get to know your ideal customers really, really well, but not avatars. Like, get to know real people. I will say most people won't do this. They'll just do the avatar exercise, which is a little easier, yes, but they also won't have the same kind of success or results that they would have had if they'd gone out and talked to real people. So if you could just do this step, you'll be so far ahead of everybody else who's out there researching their competition that you are more likely to have better results faster than anybody else. Speaking of which, you need to find out where your audience is hanging out. So are they mostly on TikTok, on Instagram, a combination? Just focus on one platform at a time until you feel really confident that you can quickly and easily navigate posting to multiple platforms at once. This is what I call content layering. I did start out trying to blog and have an Instagram and a newsletter and a YouTube channel and a this and a that. Like, I tried to do everything all at once, right? Like, everyone talks about content repurposing. You gotta repurpose. And so I was trying to repurpose these stupid blog posts everywhere. If I had just focused on creating good blog posts right from the beginning, and then as I got better and faster at that, layered on Instagram, and then as I got better and faster at that, layered on. If I had just layered these things on, 6 months, 12 months into my business journey, instead of trying to do them all at once, I would have been much further along and more confident as a business owner, because I would have been seeing more success. By the way, I've heard so many people steal this analogy from me. So if you've heard this somewhere else, I'm the OG. But if you try to drive a car to the grocery store and you get in one car and you drive to the grocery store, what happens? You get there in like 5 minutes. Now, let's say that you try to drive 2 cars. And so you have to like get out of the one car and like run around to the front of the next one and drive that one a little bit. And then you run around to the front of that one, drive that one a little bit, and then run around, right? Like that would take you hours to make the same exact journey to the grocery store as if you had just taken the one car. So in this analogy, right, the one car is like one content platform. Instagram is one car. Blogging is one car. And so you want to get to the point where you feel really, really good about driving one car to the supermarket, and you know that you'll be able to have time to come home and go in another car to a different, and another car and another car, right? So that's what we want to do with our businesses, is layer the content to reach the right audience. And we do that by first selecting the lowest hanging fruit, which is the content platform where our people are most likely to hang out, that we also hopefully enjoy doing. Another advantage of this strategy is you can use your different platforms to leverage an audience on a new platform that you join. So for example, when I joined TikTok, I had no audience and I blew up there, and then I was able to leverage that into more of a YouTube following, and then I blew up on YouTube. If you look at my subscribers, I correlated my TikTok growth with my YouTube growth, because from TikTok, I was constantly pushing them over to YouTube. And so if you use one of your platforms to grow, and then you use it to push to the next platform, it's more effective than if you try to grow both of them at once and didn't really get far on either platform. Okay, so option number 3 is actually usually where I see people try to head if they have some money and some resources to put behind the development and promotion of a new product, and that is paid advertising. And I'm a huge proponent of paid ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, whatever you want to do. It's all good. It can all work for you. However, big asterisk here, which is if your organic marketing is not working, which is why I started with social. If you are not getting any traction on social media, on a blog, on a newsletter, whatever it might be, your paid content is not gonna do well either. And this is a really hard, very expensive lesson for a lot of people to learn. Like, I guarantee there's gonna be several people who, 1, didn't subscribe to this channel, still waiting, and 2, they're gonna be like, I tried to do Facebook ads or whatever for my product and it didn't work. Help me, Christina, what happened? And it's just because if you don't have any organic traction, that's not going to translate then to paid traction. You're just gonna be spending money to get the same results that your organic content got, which is not great. So number 4, there is an alternate strategy that you can use that combines both your time and money, because organic is time and paid is money. And this would be using affiliates, which I've covered extensively on this channel. Now, typically when you work with affiliates, it's much better to have a product that you know is going to sell. That's really important, that your affiliates who have the audience that you want to go after know that they're going to be able to sell your product to them. But if you do have any kind of connections or friends, or you can get on someone's podcast as a guest and talk about your products, that could be a really great joint venture opportunity or affiliate opportunity for someone to take advantage of their audience, even if they don't have products, because they can sell your products to their audience. So that would be kind of a hybrid of the two, but I really prefer this in the situation where you do have some kind of product to market fit and you're testing a new product versus just completely starting from scratch and trying out affiliates. But I mean, this is how I started. I started with joint venture webinars with the Rising Tide Society. So I can't really say like you shouldn't do this at all, but I will remind you that my webinars with RTS, they were very educational. So they weren't like a typical webinar that you go to and have 3 secrets and like everything gets revealed, right? Like it wasn't like that at all. It was like a minimal pitch, super terrible, where I just stumbled through it for less than 30 seconds. And then the rest of that hour was spent serving and trying to help people from a deep place of personally being hurt and wanting to help other people not feel hurt in whatever way they might be going through. Again, going back to that personal story I shared at the beginning. Okay, so I saved the best for last intentionally because I wanted to make sure that you had liked this video by now. The last step in this journey, if none of the other things sounded good to you, then I guarantee this one is the only one that's going to work for you, which is you just need to be annoying. That's it. Just be annoying. Like, look at me. I'm here every single week and I'm like, hey, new video. Hey, subscribe. And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't and hurt my feelings, but whatever. I am just always here reminding you that I sell Launch Your Shop Academy that helps you get your shop started and launched complete with templates, and the Simple Sustained Shop Sales System, which helps you scale your shop. And I am just annoying. I am here on TikTok, on YouTube, in all the places telling you that I exist and that my products exist, and I'm doing that in my shop as well. So I have a TikTok for that, and every single week I'm getting on there multiple times a week and just talking about the fact that my products are out in the world for anyone to purchase. If you can talk about your products and remind people that they exist, either in a very direct way where you're saying, hey, go buy this thing. If you're a graphic designer, you're gonna wanna go buy this graphic design, blah, blah, blah. Or in an indirect way where you just kind of like name drop it. So you're just kind of like, yeah, so last night when I was teaching my Launch Your Shop Academy students, I just noticed that they all had blah, 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 right? So like I just kind of name drop that I'm doing that, and then people are like, what? What's Launch Your Shop Academy? Tell me more. And then they go to launchyourshopacademy.com and then they buy it. We spent a lot of time here today covering what to do in order to make sure that you're getting those passive product sales. But what if you want to put that in a shop? Well, the next video that just popped up on your screen is going to be there to take you extensively, step by step, and hold your hand through the process of getting your shop up and going. Plus, I have a great free guide called The Ultimate Guide to Creating Digital Download Products. Sounds like it might be a fit for you. It's down below in the description, so make sure you get that totally for free on me today. Bye friends, see you next week.